Labyrinth of Nightmare was released on March 1st, 2003. This set contains a lot of very powerful cards at low rarities. Most noteworthy at common, we do have some stun pieces such as Vengeful Bog Spirit, the Dark Door, and Fairy Box. Fairy Box is one of those cards that will define the progression series for the next several sets, and is going to make spell and trap removal very important. Those remove traps may come out of the side deck depending on how many copies of this board winds up opening. We do also have Fusion Gate at common, which allows us access to the extra deck without the super rare polymerization if we do have the necessary cards to make a fusion monster. And we do have other noteworthy commons in the set. Hysteric Fairy is another 4-star 1800 beater. Offerings to the Doomed is a 2-for-1 in that it makes you skip your next draw phase, but it will destroy any face-up monster, and it is at common, so this is the first good common piece of removal that we have. Another noteworthy cycle of cards are the 5 attribute special summons, that they can be special summoned by banishing one or more monsters of their attribute from your graveyard. All of these are welcome in any attribute-based decks, and we also have Zumbira the Dark, who is a 2100 4-star beater that cannot attack directly, and it does lose 200 attack for every monster that it destroys by battle, but it is still a very playable card, being able to get over those 2k defenders. We do also have the Dark Door, as previously mentioned, which makes it possible for only one monster to attack each turn. When combined with Vengeful Bog Spirit, that can slow a lot of monsters down. We do also have Bait Doll in this format. A Bait Doll is trap removal for non-chainables. So what Bait Doll does is it forces the activation of a face-down trap card. And then the final noteworthy common in the set is Ekibyo Drakmord. This is an upgrade to Paralyzing Potion that destroys the monster after 2 turns, and then the Ekibyo itself returns to its owner's hand. This is a very potent piece of removal if it is not disrupted. And with spell and trap removal being at such a premium, I think we're going to see a lot of this card. At the rare slot, we do have some noteworthy cards. We have Amphibian Beast, which is a 1 tribute 2400 at rare. I have a Jinzo, so I won't be playing this, but if we do ever pivot to some kind of water-based deck, this will make the main deck for a while. Mask of Brutality is a rare Axe of Despair that requires a 1000 life point cost to be able to leave it on the field. We have Dark Lord Marie, also known as Marie the Fallen One, that Board might be interested in due to life gain strategy that he has been employing in his last couple of duels. Jaugen the Spiritualist is a very important card for the future. In addition to being able to destroy any specially summoned monsters, Jaugen prevents special summons, period. And this can be very good in the future for locking opponents out of the extra deck, and it will form a 2-card combo that will instantly win the game with a card coming up in the next set. Gillosaurus is a great card to see if you're going first. This is a free special summon at no cost if your opponent doesn't have any monsters in the graveyard. A Tornado Bird could be a tempo play for some trap cards, but I don't think it will see too much play. Now, this rare Destruction Punch is a rare that Board might be interested in. Combined with his Labyrinth Walls, this can serve as a Sakuretsu armor until we get the real Sakuretsu armor later on in the progression series. Spiritualism is our first spell speed 4 interaction. Spiritualism bounces a spell or trap card, but it is spell speed 4, so it cannot be negated. And then moving on to the super rare slot, we do have some of the mask cards in this set. Mask of the Accursed could be playable in some burn decks. Jar of Greed lets us play a slightly smaller deck, it just cycles for a card. Kaiku is pretty big. It's an 1800 beater that prevents your opponent from banishing cards. And when it connects, you can banish cards from your opponent's graveyard. We also have Bazoo the Soul Eater, which could be very important down the road as well, depending on what we open in some future sets. Fire Princess is probably the card that Board wants to open most out of this set. It deals your opponent 500 points of damage every time you gain life points. With the amount of life gain that he has in that deck from Solemn Wishes and other elements, it could wind up being pretty powerful for him. The only other noteworthy super rare is Ruroku Field. which is a counter trap that will negate any spell or trap that targets exactly one monster. So you can 1-for-1 with targeted removal. And at the top of the rarity curve, we have some extremely powerful cards. Half of the ultra rares in the set are stinkers, and the other half are amazing. The Masked Beast, Destiny Board, and Royal Command, and Mask of Restrict to a lesser extent, are definitely on that side of being unplayable. Although of note, the Masked Beast, it's one of the largest monsters that we have available to us at 3,200 attack, and depending on what we open, if we do get a copy of this, we could play a Senju of the Thousand Hands that we have at 3 copies, to be able to get easy access to this, and a 3,200 beater is very difficult to out at this point. But we do have the Last Warrior from Another Planet as well. This is the reason why Metamorphosis is still banned to this day, because you can metamorph a level 7 into the Last Warrior of Another Planet, and that prevents both players from summoning monsters at all. So if we do see one of these, that could be very valuable when we get to have Metamorphosis in our card pool, and especially if we can reliably summon level 7 monsters, this could be a card that just locks your opponent out of the game. A Dark Necrofear is a pretty powerful Fiend-type payoff. It's a special summon that needs to banish 3 Fiend-type monsters from your graveyard. It has a good-sized body, and on top of that, when it dies, you can turn it into a Snatch Steal. And the rest of the Ultra Rares, a Torrential Tribute is the second most powerful card in the set. It is a board wipe that can be activated on any summon, and once it has been seen, it is something that you'll need to be conscientious of for every duel going forward. A Card of Safe Return is probably the most powerful card in the set. While not incredibly strong now, this card is completely absurd going forward. It reads, whenever a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can draw 1 card. Note that this is not once per turn or even once per chain. This will trigger every time you special summon a monster from your graveyard. So any sort of graveyard-focused strategy, this can easily draw 2, 3, or even more cards. And then we have the 2 equip power spells, United We Stand and Mage Power. These cards very quickly get limited due to the OTKs possible with them, because both of these cards just add a ridiculous amount of attack power. And then at Secret Rare, we have Gemini Elf, which is our first 1900 beater. That will be welcome, but it will get more accessible after a few sets due to having other 1900 beaters. And Magic Cylinder is a card that's very much limited for a long time, and it is something that will end games out of nowhere. And with the release of a new set also comes a new limited list. There are a lot of cards from Pharaoh's Servant as well as Tournament Pack 2 that got hidden in the set. Jinzo, Morphing Jar, Witch of the Black Forest, Card Destruction, Limiter Removal, Premature Burial, Swords of Revealing Light, Call of the Haunted, Ceasefire, and Imperial Order are now limited to 1 copy. This means that we will need to remove our second copy of Call of the Haunted from our deck. We will get it back much later, and it will be very valuable going forward. And then Morphing Jar number 2, Nobleman of Crossout, and Backup Soldier are now semi-limited to 2 copies each. This set is going to be great. There's so much power in the set across all rarities. I am super excited to start opening these packs. All right, 24 packs of Labyrinth of Nightmare. Let's get started. And nothing special other than that 1 copy of Zombira the Dark. It is a common, so we are expected to get several of them. And there's our first fairy box. That is a card that will be format defining, and we do want to see 3 copies of it for maximum consistency, and of course, maximum troll. And there's our first holo. It is a Dark Necrofear. That is a middle-of-the-road holo. It is build around, but if we do get the Fiend-type support, it is very playable. That is our first copy of Echibio Dracmord, as well as our first copy of Gillosaurus. Those do give us some deck-building options if we can open more copies of Gillosaurus especially. But the Dark Necrofear is something that we will happily add to the collection. And there's our first copy of Fusion Gate, as well as our first copy of Vengeful Bog Spirit. While we do not have many stun pieces now, this could lead to some kind of stun deck being built depending on what we open in future sets. Finishing out our playset of Mask of Weakness is nice, and that is something that we will need to play around, but we do have Rush Recklessly to effectively negate it. It is something we will need to be aware of going forward in combat, though. About a third of the way through the box, and the only special thing that we have so far is Dark Necrofear. Nothing great, so I'm starting to get a little bit concerned here. And we did get a super rare. It is Jar of Greed, though. Not the greatest super rare, but if we are playing a combo deck in the future, that will let us play effectively a 39-card deck. That is also our first Aqua Spirit, and our first copy of Offerings to the Doomed as well. I don't foresee us playing Offerings to the Doomed because we do have 2 copies of Fissure, but if there is a specific threat that needs to be taken out, we may put that in the side deck. We'll see. So about halfway through our box, and definitely some below average opening, that is our first copy of Dark Lord Marie. Well, this is a noteworthy open. That is our first copy of Amphibian Beast. That will give us a second 2400 Tribute Summon if we do need it. I think with the way this deck is operating now, Jinzo should be plenty, though. And another super rare, it is another Jar of Greed, so this will let us play a 38-card deck if we want to. But more notably, we did get a copy of Jowgen the Spiritualist. While not important now, this could potentially be important later, as special summoning floodgates are going to get very powerful once we have extra summoning mechanics introduced into the game. 2/3 of the way through this box, and we only just got our second fairy box. This has definitely been a below average opening. Coming up on the end, and still not a lot of great stuff, we did notably get another copy of Dark Door, as well as a copy of Hysteric Fairy. That is only our second of those. It is an 1800 beater, which we are a little bit low on, but man, this box has been a stinker. Well, there's another Jowgen, but the rest of this is just so bad. We've only got 3 packs left. Very little that we have to redeem our opening of this set. Starting to get really nervous. Still nothing. All right, last couple of packs. Can we get a miracle at the end? Nothing in this pack. And for our last pack, we did fill out our playset of Jowgen the Spiritualist, but other than that, nothing really special. This is a pretty disappointing opening. The only Ultra was a build-around. Missed a lot of power cards, so I don't know how much is going to change, but we'll go to Dueling Book and see what we can come up with. So this is the deck that we will be bringing to today's duel. Not a ton has changed, but I'll try to go over as many of the changes as I can. We'll go over the card by card. I have 1 Cannon Soldier, 2 Crass Clown, 1 Cyber Jar, 1 Dream Clown. This has come in from the side deck to the main deck now. Board's decks have mostly been slow, and slow enough to actually make Dream Clown work to be able to destroy our opponent's defensive monsters such as Labyrinth Wall. If board is on a faster deck, then we will move this back to the side deck. We have 2 copies of Hysteric Fairy. It's an 1800 beater with some trinket text that probably will never come up, but it is there if we need it. 1 copy of Jinzo, 2 copies of Magician of Faith, 2 copies of Maneater Bug, double Sangan, 1 copy of the newly limited Witch of the Black Forest, 2 copies of Zombira the Dark, a 2100 beater that cannot attack directly, and it can get over a 2000 defender once, because it does lose 200 attack permanently every time it destroys a monster. 1 copy of Amphibian Beast to replace Wingweaver, just because it's easier to get out, being a 1 tribute. It's as close to Summon Skull as we'll get. And then 2 copies of Sky Scout, also known as Harpy's Brother, and that will round it out for our monsters. For our spells, we have 1 Change of Heart, 1 copy of Confiscation, 1 Dark Hole, 2 Fissure, 1 Giant Trunade, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Pot of Greed, triple Rush Recklessly. Now, there are a couple of different ways to be able to play around Fairy Box. You can either fill your deck with a bad spell and trap removal, since we don't have a ton of it. We have about as much as we can realistically get, but we do have other options in the side deck to deal with the fairy boxes, but I feel Rush Recklessly is a bit more universally helpful. It can reverse combat in our favor, act as a removal spell, and even be able to get over some monsters, even through a fairy box. And then 1 Swords of Revealing Light to round out the spells. For the traps, we have 1 Call of the Haunted, newly limited, 1 Dust Tornado, 1 Magic Drain, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Solemn Judgment, and 1 Trap Hole. For the side deck, we have 1 Time Wizard in case we get behind, 1 White Magical Hat, 3rd Zombie of the Dark in case we have a lot of 2K defenders to get over, including the newly printed Humanoid Slime, 1 Cold Wave, 1 Prohibition. I've been noticing that Board's deck has been relying on certain cards, and I get the feeling that is not going to change. So if that is still the case, we can bring this in and shut off a card in his deck. 1 Remove Trap for Fairy Box, 2 Spiritualism. This is our first piece of spell speed for Disruption. This returns 1 spell or trap card to the hand, but it cannot be negated. So what this will do, it can set up a turn where Board may be relying on his Fairy Box to be able to ward off attacks, and being able to get rid of it, even for 1 turn, can change the tide of the game. 1 Stop Defense to deal with the 2K defenders and the Labyrinth walls, 2 copies of Fairy Box in case Board has audible to an aggro strategy, the 1 Horn of Heaven, and triple Mishizure. Now, Mishizure was in the main deck before, but I have noticed that Board's deck does not do a lot of attacking, so it's very difficult to meet the conditions for Mishizure to actually trigger, and I found that this had been rotting in my hand quite a bit. And the extra deck is a bunch of stuff we can't play. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't think I opened that well out of the set, and it could be easily blown out by what Board opened, and especially with that ultra rare wild card that he got off of the super prize wheel last week. I think I'm about as ready as I'm gonna get. It is time to duel. So Board, I hope your pulls out of this set will let you navigate this labyrinth of what will be your greatest nightmares. Somebody's not too confident in their pulls. Well, you do have an ultra rare that I do not know about, and hopefully I don't see it in this game, because most of the ultra rares in this format are pretty scary. I would like to win the coin toss. Hey, I won the coin toss! I will take the play. Good luck, duelist. Alright, draw for turn, standby main. I am going to set myself a monster, set a couple of back row, and pass the turn. Interesting. Draw for turn, standby main. I will set another monster, and I will pass the turn. I'm gonna drain that. Got another one? Cool. That's what I want to see. Yeah! Alright, draw for turn. Stand by main. I will also activate Pot of Greed. Do you have the Magic Drain? Cool, I will draw 2 cards.
That's disgusting.
I will flip summon Maneater Bug and target your new set. Ew. That's no good. The Forgiving Maiden. Somebody's on 2K defenders. Okay then. Your set card is a Cyber Jar, so I am going to flip summon Witch of the Black Forest, proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack into your face down. It is a Maneater Bug. Okay, that's equally bad. Okay, Witch of the Black Forest will be destroyed. I will proc its effect. I will grab myself a copy of Hysteric Fairy. And then Maneater Bug will attack directly for 450. After combat, I will set another back row, and I will normal summon Dream Clown, and I will pass the turn. Polymerization? Wow. Resolves.
I completely forgot he had that, actually.
He took Polymerization from a super rare wild card. Okay, this doesn't surprise me at all. If you're on Forgiving Maiden, that doesn't surprise me that you had a Joan. This is gonna sting. I'm going to Trap Hole the Giant Germ. Now he's going to start gaining life points every turn, too.
Yep.
Something his deck was already good at. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll take 16. Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. Boy, I don't like this too much. I'm going to switch Maneater Bug to defense position and set a monster. Pass the turn. Special guild... Is that a special summon? Okay. I will special summon my Witch of the... I can special summon that, right? Any monster from my graveyard? Okay. I will special summon Witch of the Black Forest in defense position. Okay, then. Interesting. That will kill the Maneater Bug. You have found my Cyber Jar. What do we have here? Sangan, Crass Clown. That's not bad. So I'll pick up a Heavy Storm, a Mystical Space Typhoon, and these are the positions I'll be putting my monsters in. I'll put the Sangan face down. Just a Zombira, huh? Chain Energy! Chain Energy! What is this? Okay, then. Well, it is still your battle phase. My position stand. Alright, I will take 700 damage. Board, can you put a counter on your Zombira the Dark so that we can indicate that it's been reduced by 200? Thank you. Okay. Interesting why you would set that many back row when you know I have a Heavy Storm, but okay. Draw for turn, stand by main. Okay, what do you have for me? Because I have this Heavy Storm. Offering, double offerings. Okay, give me a minute, I need to check something. You will only skip, your next draw phase, not your next two. Alright. I just wanted to make sure we had that correct. Okay, so those will resolve. Chain resolves backward. Crass Clown will be destroyed. Sangan will be destroyed. Did I ever get my second Witch proc off of Cyberjar? I don't think I. Okay. Okay, so I'll just resolve both of those at once then. I'm sorry. So Witch of the Black Forest, I'm gonna just get another Hysteric Fairy. And then for Sangan, I'm going to get Maneater Bug.
Don't forget your face down card is gone too.
And then I lose my Solemn Judgment. I will set a monster, set a back row, could be anything, and then I'll pass the turn. Yep. Alright. Draw for turn, stand by main. It is the Maneater Bug. I'm going to kill Zombira. And then, just to make things even better, I am going to tribute Maneater Bug for Jinzo. Battle phase, 24 to the face. Not looking too good for you. Second main, I will set a card, and I will end my turn. Alright. Draw for turn, stand by main. I will normal summon Hysteric Fairy. Battle phase, I will attack for a total of 4,200. I will go ahead and end my turn. That's what I thought. Alright, I think that's how we'll side. Alright, game 2. Pot of Greed resolves. Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. I will normal summon Hysteric Fairy. I will proceed to the battle phase and I'll attack into your face down. Giant Germ. Okay, I will take 500. Somebody has one in their hand. After combat, I will set a card and end my turn. Solemn Wishes. Well, this game might take a while. Dark Elf resolves. You know, Board, your deck is looking more and more like Battle City Weevil's deck. I will just take it all. You know, where all he does is just sits there and gains 1,000,000 life points? Chain Energy! That might be a problem. Draw for turn, standby main. Ah, that's so obnoxious. I'm gonna take 500 to set a monster. And I will end my turn. That's a Witch of the Black Forest. Shoot your Dark Elf. I'll take 1,000. Alright, draw for turn, standby main. Wow. Oh, what a top deck. I activate Heavy Storm. Wow, I take 500 for this also. Oh, wow, you got a Magic Cylinder? That's pretty sweet. My face down card was Cold Wave. I will normal summon Sky Scout. I'll proceed to the battle phase, and I'll beat over your Giant Germ, and I'll take 5. I will end my turn. This is quite the deck you've concocted. I was not expecting this pivot, that's for sure. Interesting, no Chain Energy. Do I want a one-turn reprieve from this? I think I do want a one-turn reprieve from this. I'm going to activate Giant Trunade. I will normal summon Sangan. I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack over your Witch of the Black Forest. That's what I thought. I will attack for 1,000 direct. After combat, I'll set a card, and I'll end my turn. Gillosaurus, huh? I will special summon Hysteric Fairy. I'm going to Judgment this. Nice idea, though. Okay, I will take 2. Alright, 400. Trigger Sangan. Sangan is going to get Cannon Soldier. Two back row, huh? Those are scary. Draw for turn, standby main. Man, this is rough. Like, I can try to game you here, but this is so risky. I gotta think about this one. It's so risky to take this route. I've seen attack and receive from you, and if I do this and you have attack and receive, I just lose the game. This is such a hard decision. Do you have any in your grave? No. Okay. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to activate Change of Heart, targeting your Dark Elf. I will take your Dark Elf for a turn. I will normal summon Cannon Soldier. I will proceed to the battle phase. I will attack your Gillosaurus. That will do it. That I could not play around. Alright, game 3. Alright, game number 3. Let's go. Draw for turn. Standby main. I'll activate Pot of Greed. Nice that I don't have to worry about Ash Blossom. I will normal summon Hysteric Fairy, and I will set 2 cards face down, and I will end my turn. Okay, Dark Elf resolves. Okay, the attack declaration goes through, but damage step, rush recklessly. Alright, draw for turn, standby main. I will normal summon another Hysteric Fairy. I will proceed to the battle phase. Oh, Gravity Bind! Yeah, I have to Judgment this. It really hurts to do so, but I have to Judgment this. Proceed to the battle phase, 18. Okay, so I take 700. And then I will attack for another 18. I will end my turn. Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. I will tribute over this Hysteric Fairy for Amphibian Beast. I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack Amphibian Beast into your 2k Defender, and then I will attack directly for 1800. After combat, I will set a card face down and end my turn. You have a Witch of the Black Forest. United we stand! No. Dust Tornado. No. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so my line in the second game that I was thinking about doing that lost to attack and receive was Change of Heart your Dark Elf, and then I attack with everything, go to 300, and then tribute all my monsters to Cannon Soldier, and it's lethal, but that line requires me to attack with Dark Elf, and it loses to attack and receive. And I felt that that line was just too risky given the number of burn cards that you had in your deck, but yeah, good stuff. So I don't think I saw the card that you took off of the wild card for this for the Super Wheel. And I don't think I've seen that card in general, so it'll be interesting to see that going forward. That third game, if that Gravity Bind resolved, I was in pretty deep trouble. The Amphibian Beast was a great read, too. I had another beater that I could have put more pressure on you with, and probably could have won the game a turn faster. It gets walled by a 2k Defender, and then if you tribute into a Labyrinth wall, I had no way to out that. But yeah, good stuff. With that victory, I will go to the prize wheel, and you will go to the catch-up prize wheel. So we'll see what we get. Hopefully something good. And we get a common or rare wild card. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, and it's going to seem strange not spending this on a Mystic Tomato, like I said I was going to before, but my common rare wild card for this set is going to be a copy of Remove Trap. I know that sounds like a bit of an odd pick, but I only got one of these in Legend of Blue Eyes, and with the stun pieces coming together, I think I need more back row removal in my side deck just in case. So I feel a second copy of Remove Trap is going to be better. Plus, I'll have 2 more sets to grab a Mystic Tomato than I will this one. And then for the bonus spin, we'll see what we get here. And also, Mystic Tomato is in the Tournament Pack 4, which we'll have access to for a while. And we get ourselves a Wildcard Super Rare. That's a pretty good one. I think there's only one good pick for this, and I think it very much has to be Raigeki. I really can't think of a better card to take with a super rare wild card than Raigeki. So with that, that's going to do it. Oh, I did just get Board's super prize wheel spin. He opened wild card any, so he'll be able to take any one card he wants from the first 5 sets. So that's going to be pretty scary. So with that, that'll be a wrap for today's episode. I am looking forward to the next one, though. It is Legacy of Darkness, which gives us access to some pretty powerful staples, as well as some great warrior archetype cards. So it'll be interesting to see if one of us gets a warrior toolbox deck together. Until then, see you around.